What is going on, college basketball fans? Today we're back with some early season tournament predictions for Feast Week in college basketball. One of the best weeks of college basketball other than March Madness. It's one of the best. I mean, you get to see teams that don't usually play each other go at it, super top teams, see who comes out the winner. And as I've mentioned, these are very important for whenever it comes to practice for March Madness and to decide who we think can go deep in March Madness, to prove that they can win or go far in these early season tournaments. So today we got the ESPN Events Invitational Tournament, and this one might be the one I am most excited to watch. It actually starts on Wednesday in Feast Week, the day before Thanksgiving. And the reason it's the one I'm most excited to watch is because all of these matchups are super even matchups. I didn't say maybe Florida Atlantic versus Butler, Iowa State, VCU, not the best matchups, but once we get into the second round, it's going to be awesome matchups. And Boise State, Virginia Tech, Penn State, Texas A&M should be super, super fun ones, and I'm super excited. I know the Maui Jim Maui is super stacked, a lot of top 10 teams, a lot of top 25 teams, and even the Battle for Atlanta is pretty stacked as well, but this one right here, very well balanced in my opinion, and I am very, very excited for it. And let's get into it. Subscribe if you guys are college basketball fans. There's no better place to be for college basketball content than right here on my YouTube channel. And comment down below who you guys think are going to win this ESPN Events Invitational Tournament. So let's get it started. So first up, we got a rematch from the first round. I think a 7-10 matchup last season in March Madness was Penn State and Texas A&M. Texas A&M returning a lot of players, of course, Wade Taylor, of course, Radford, and they have a lot of the same team together from that March Madness matchup, whereas Penn State, they lost Micah Shrewsbury, which then again lost a lot of their players. They lost, of course, Jalen Pickett to the NBA, so they're a much different team now than they were last season, but they did bring in a new head coach, and they did bring in some new players, including Ace Baldwin, which that actually kind of plays into factor because Ace Baldwin and their new head coach came from VCU, which is also in this tournament, so a lot of intertwined things throughout this tournament, which makes it pretty fun here as well. But yeah, I really like Texas A&M in this matchup. I really like their guards. They have one of the best guard duos in college basketball, as I've mentioned before, Radford and, of course, Wade Taylor. But I do really, really like their big men as well. Henry Coleman, he is a beast, a double-double machine who I think could give them the edge in this one and could lead them to go pretty far in this tournament. So I'm going to go with Texas A&M to defeat Penn State and get some revenge after last year's loss to the Jalen Pickett-led Nittany Lions. Next up, we got Florida Atlantic versus Butler. I actually thought at the beginning of the season, Butler might not be too bad this year, and they might not be horrible, but I still don't think they are anywhere near Florida Atlantic's level. And FAU is coming off of a loss to Bryant, which is pretty tough. Bryant, not a good team at all, and Florida Atlantic was at home. That's a tough one. We've seen other teams, lose to teams they shouldn't have already this year. We'll see if they can bounce back. I think they will here for sure, at least in the first round, and I'm going to go with FAU here to move on to face Texas A&M in the second round. I think Vlad Golden is definitely going to be a big part of this. I think they need guys like Elijah Martin to step it up a little bit and kind of like if he can be a big factor in this one. I believe he is one of the X factors on this FAU team. John L. Davis needs to play amazing. And they should have no problem getting by Butler. Next up, we got Iowa State versus VCU. VCU, they're not a bad team. They did hire Ryan Autumn, which used to be the head coach of UMBC, so we know he is accustomed to being able to pull off an upset. He was the head coach there when they pulled off the upset over 2018 Virginia, 16-1. So there, and then they have Zeb Jackson, who is a super phenomenal player, all around, well-rounded guard, who I think could have a pretty good game. But I do think that Iowa State is a super underrated team at this point in the season. I think they are going to get by VCU fairly easily. I just really like what they have on their team. TJ Otzelberger is one of the more underrated head coaches in college basketball, especially given the league that he plays in the Big 12. Super good. Taman Lipsey, a very good point guard, a very good passer. I like his game a lot. They got some really good freshmen, including Milan. I like his game a lot. Gashawn Gilbert. They got some players on their squad, and I really, really like this Iowa State team. I think they're underrated, and they're going to open up some eyes in this tournament. Next up, we got our last first-round matchup. We got Boise State versus Virginia Tech, and this one might be the closest out of them all. Penn State, Texas A&M might be pretty close, but I look for Texas A&M to pull away late. Boise State, Virginia Tech could go down to the buzzer. I really like Virginia Tech. I think they're an underrated team at this point in the season. You know, Sam Padula, a very good point guard. They got some other solid players on their squad as well. They usually wake up towards the end of the season and kind of make their push for March Madness. I think that they could maybe make a push in this tournament and open up some eyes now, but I do like Boise State here in this matchup. I know Boise State just took a loss recently, and but they still look pretty good and one of the top teams in the Mountain West. And the Mountain West is still a phenomenal league. I like Boise State in this game. I think they have an excellent point guard in Cam Martin. They got a really good big in Agbo. I like this Boise State team, and I'm going to take them here in this matchup to move on to the semifinals. Next up, we got Texas A&M versus Florida Atlantic, and this is going to be an amazing matchup. I mean, to watch these guards go at it, like John L. Davis going up against Wade Taylor. You got Nick Boyd going up against Tyrese Radford. You got Big Vladdy, who's going to have to go up against Henry Coleman. I mean, some really good matchups here in this one. I think it's going to be the bench of one of these teams that is going to have to step up and be able to win this game. I do like Texas A&M in this matchup. I mean, they have looked really, really good so far this season. I know I said FAU could bounce back off of that Bryant loss, but given what we've seen so far this season, I really like what I've seen from Texas A&M. I could be completely wrong because either one of these teams, Texas A&M or FAU, could win this entire tournament. It would not surprise me if FAU does win this tournament, but I am going to go with Texas A&M to defeat FAU when they might be underdogs and move on to the championship of this tourney. Next up, we do have Iowa State versus Boise State, and I think this is a matchup between two really good point guards in Martin. And also for Iowa State, you have Lipsey. I think those are two really good passing point guards. Who is going to set up their team better? Who is going to be the playmaker that their team needs? I think that Iowa State has better depth. I think I like their freshmen to step up a lot in this one. They got some really good freshmen. I like DJ Otzelberger as the head coach advantage there as well. So I'm going to go with Iowa State there to defeat Boise State in the semifinals. And then we got our championship for the ESPN Invitational. We got Texas A&M versus Iowa State. And I'll go ahead and say I'm going to have Iowa State win the ESPN Events Invitational and really open some eyes. I think they're a really underrated team so far this season. Like, not many people have them ranked whatsoever. I just also am having my Power 35 rankings come out later today. I don't even have them in my Power 35. I have them just outside as teams to watch, but they're undefeated up to this point in the season. I think they're pretty underrated, and I think they can get by VCU, Boise, and Texas A&M if they had to. Texas A&M, Iowa State, coin flip. Texas A&M would be the favored team, I think, in my opinion, but I am going to go with Iowa State here to get it done. You got to pick some sleepers. You know, I could be completely wrong. FAU definitely capable of winning the ESPN Events Invitational. They might actually be the favorites out of all 8 of these teams teams to win it. I definitely think Texas A&M can win it. I think Iowa State can win it. I think Boise could make a run and somehow win it. I would not be completely shocked if that happened. Virginia Tech could make a little bit of a run and possibly win it. So there are a lot of different teams that could win it here in this one. I definitely want to hear your guys' opinions down below in the comment section. Who is winning this tournament? I'm going to go with a slight sleeper. I'd say Iowa State are probably the third favorites behind FAU and Texas A&M to win this tournament. Slight sleeper here, but I like them a lot. I think they're underrated. I'm going to go with them here to win it. So let me know what you guys think. Subscribe for more college basketball content. And yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching.